We welcome you back to Longhorn Weekly, visiting with University of Texas Athletics Director Steve Patterson. One of the other key issues that we talk about is fundraising and endowments as well. You've been very public about this, talking about the crucial nature of it and how important it is in terms of being a lifeblood to success of an athletic program. What are your thoughts on where it is at the University of Texas and the things that you want to see in terms of the goal setting for fundraising and endowments?
Well, DeLoss and Chris and the staff here have done a great job for many years leading the pack in revenues. We need to continue to be in that position. We carry a fair amount of debt. We'll carry some more with the rest of these facilities that we're going to be building. But, you know, one of the things we're probably tweaking a bit is the approach towards looking at each one of the teams individually, trying to make sure they can be self-sustaining on a go-forth basis. So you have those programs that are going to generate a bunch in ticket revenue, the footballs of the world, men's basketball, baseball, where we can generate quite a bit of revenue. You know, you see some growth in volleyball and women's basketball as we go forward, but you know, they're never going to generate as much revenue as those other three. So, you know, the other model that's out there really is what Stanford's done over the years, and they have an endowment of $500 million that supports athletics. So, you know, they can walk in their football stadium and decide that they don't like any signage in the building. And, you know, we like our signage pretty good here at UT. When I was at ASU, we'd, you know, slap a sign on anything that was not moving. So, you know, to help pay the bills. But, you know, so you take a sport like a golf where you're not going to really sell any tickets. We've been very successful at it. We've got a lot of people interested in it, a lot of people that are passionate about golf. You know, so we can look at endowing each of the scholarships for the student athletes that are there. It costs just shy of just a little over $750,000 in total to endow all the costs for room and board and books and tuition and fees and whatnot for a student athlete. And that's a program I think that we can endow in the short haul. Same thing for women's golf, same thing for tennis and some of the others. If you look at a school like USC, they've got 67 positions on the football team endowed, fully endowed. So these are the kind of schools that we're competing with on an annual basis. If we're going to make those teams more self-sustaining and able to carry their own weight instead of putting all the weight on the back of the football program, then that's one of the tools that we can use to help support those fan bases' interest in those sports. You know, the reality is, in many respects, it's really being donor-centric. What are people passionate about? If somebody's passionate about the rowing team, great. You know, if somebody's passionate about the tennis team, great. I think we want to try to build it across all of our sports. You know, I look out there right now, and we're third in the conference in endowment. I don't think Texas should be third in the Big 12 in endowment. We're second in the state to a school down the road that we won't mention, who's got nearly 3 times as much in their sports endowment as we've got. We ought to be the leaders in the state. We ought to be the leaders in the conference. We ought to be one of the leaders in the nation. And I think we've got the resources and the passionate fan base and the interest for folks to be able to do that. So it's something we're going to continue to work on.
When you say the words, and I've heard you say this before, that we should get to a place where we can realistically look at every athletic scholarship being individually endowed, that raises eyebrows. Is it, in today's marketplace, a realistic thing to be able to attain that goal?
Oh, I think we can. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a lot of work. We've got to tell our story. We've got to tell our story well. We've got to get people interested. We've got to see what people's passion is, where do they want to get involved. But I think it's a very doable goal over the mid to longer term. And ultimately, it's, I think, where we're going to need to be as we look at all the changes and what potentially may happen in college athletics as we go forward.
You made a brief reference to this. Are there, and is this the way to look at it as it relates to specific sports? There are specific donors who are really dialed into a certain sport. You brought up, for example, rowing, or let's say baseball or football, whatever, where they're specifically wanting to earmark their endowments or their donations for those specific programs. Is that a route to go?
It is. I think it is being donor-centric. You know, it's the same as being customer-centric. People have passions for certain sports. They may come to the university and care nothing about the football team. They may care nothing about the basketball team, but they may be very interested in rowing. Well, great. Then let's talk about what they want to do as they plan their estate, or they plan what they do charitably, to look at helping support that sport. Either it could be in capital for facilities, it could be on an annual basis, it could be an endowment for a scholarship, it could be an endowment for the coaching positions, it may be in the academic part of what's going on out there. So they may want to endow a position in the folks that tutor our student athletes. And so if you look across what people have done elsewhere in college athletics, we're not doing anything that's terribly outside of the box. It really is kind of an accepted program, and I think it's something that we can put into place at the University of Texas, have tremendous success with, and make sure we continue to grow the sort of student services that we provide for all our student athletes across all of the 20 sports that we support.